Alright guys, today we're going to look at the posing routine from somebody across the world. We're looking at Mischa Janiec, and I do apologize if I mispronounced that. He is from PolskaGenetics.com. Make sure to check out his site and his YouTube channel. He's been seen on Matt Ogus's channel as well, so he is going to be a very familiar face to all of you. We're going to take a look at a posing routine he's done in a Group X style room to some Metallica. Now, Mischa is a very big guy. He's a natural bodybuilder. He's tall, and he has great muscle bellies. He's got great size, structure, width. So he looks all around really pleasing to look at. So we're going to take a look at his posing routine. He does it twice. So we're going to take a look at what really needs work with his routine as opposed to what doesn't really need work on his routine. We're going to go ahead and pick 3 strong points and 3 not so strong points, the same way we've done in our previous routine maintenance videos. Now, looking at his strong points, the first thing that comes to mind when you start watching his posing routine is the introduction itself. Now, when you're a spectator at a bodybuilding show, you'll be able to know almost instantly, within 5 seconds, whether or not that bodybuilder was prepared properly for the posing routine. You'll know instantly if that posing routine is going to be worth watching. Honestly, the introduction is what says it all. It's unique. It's not something just like a basic mandatory. He's got a little bit of a twist to it. The transition and the introduction is also quite impressive. As you continue to watch him pose, a few other things stand out. Mainly the fact that he's using unique poses, creative poses. Okay, rarely does he hit a mandatory. That's the second strong point about this posing routine. He picks poses that are well suited for his body. He doesn't pick random poses that he knows don't look good on him. So when you watch this entire routine, it's roughly 80 seconds long, you really get the feeling that he does not look bad in any pose. He does a very good job of making us think that he has no weak points simply by hitting pose after pose of poses that are really strong and well suited to his body. The third strong point I want to point out is the fact he makes this posing routine look very well thought out and planned because he utilizes the music in his posing routine. Obviously, when you're choosing what song you want to pose to, you want to be able to match the intensity of that song with your poses. He does a very good job of matching the intensity of this song. That's just another thing that will make it stand out amongst all the other posing routines. Somebody who looks like they practiced to the song that they're posing to, and when they come on stage, they're prepared with every single pose, every single transition timed just perfectly to fit into that 80 or 90 second posing routine. Now, let's start taking a look at some of the things that need some work. While you're watching this video, it becomes apparent that he favors one side over the other. Now, obviously, this was taken in the mirror. His video camera is pointed at the mirror, but take a look at how one arm, his left arm in particular, is the one that is always used in a pose that really steps outside of the box. His left arm is the one that's normally straight. His left arm is the arm that has the hand open during a pose. So in all of his poses that are not symmetrical, such as a front double bicep, a back double bicep, the unique poses, they really stand out. In all of those poses, it becomes very clear that he favors one side over the other. This is something that normally the athlete isn't even aware of, so it's something that's always beneficial to point out when I'm breaking down a posing routine. Now, again, this might just be a comfort issue. This might be something that he's not even aware of, but again, it's worth pointing out. He favors one side over the other in terms of stepping outside of the box with unique poses. Notice how the angle of his right arm rarely exceeds a 90-degree angle. So his muscle is going to have a stronger contraction on that side, and the elbow is going to be flexed, rarely extending 90 degrees, as opposed to the other side where the angle is wider past 90 degrees. He feels comfortable taking that arm past a 90-degree angle. That's going to give you a less powerful contraction in that muscle just because of the positioning of the arm. So again, this is just a comfort level thing. He might not even be aware of it, but it is something worth pointing out. Now, another weak point that I want to point out is something that he definitely needs to be aware of. It's not necessarily a very weak point right now, but if you notice, the second time he goes through the posing routine in this video, when he goes for the pose where he's down on his knee, his torso is twisted, and he's doing a back double bicep that is angled. Now the second time he runs through that pose, the arm that is closest to the floor gets angled a little bit improperly. He's unable to keep the 180-degree line that makes that double bicep from the back look so impressive. So this might be a flexibility issue. This might just be an issue with him not being aware of how he looks in that position. Because again, this is obviously putting a lot of stress on your posing comfort level. He's twisted, he's down on his knee, and he is doing a pose that's not necessarily comfortable to hit. So he definitely needs to be aware that he has to try to keep the 180-degree line in order to make that back double bicep look as impressive. If the arm that is closest to the floor strays away from that 180-degree angle, it's going to take away from the look, and it's going to change the way the pose looks. Again, it's going to come down to flexibility and comfort to fix that problem. Now, the last thing I want to point out is that he does this posing routine twice, and I'm not quite aware as to whether or not he has every pose planned or not. Maybe he's just experimenting with new things, but the last 10 to 15 seconds of the posing routine is different in each. Okay, so either he loses track of what he's doing and starts free posing, or he's purposely experimenting for the sake of this being obviously a practice routine. You definitely want to make sure that by the time you have your routine finalized, you have every pose picked out and you're able to fit it all within the time span allotted for that posing routine. Now, he starts the posing routine in the same fashion in both videos. So again, this makes it apparent that he does have this planned out to some extent, and he is aware of what poses he wants to hit. So this might not be a negative thing. Again, just make sure that by the time you're finished with your routine, you're able to fit every single pose in, and you know exactly which pose you're going to hit, because it's very easy to lose focus while you're up there on stage. Now, honestly, when you watch this video over and over again, you really get the takeaway message that this man looks great, he puts practice in his posing, and that he's going to be a very strong competitor on stage. All right, I could come up with about another 10 things that stand out in this posing routine as strong points, and it's really hard to find weak points in this routine. But again, I want to stress, he looks great, his physique and structure is fantastic, his posing looks good. So I definitely want to make it clear that the strong points of this posing routine definitely outweigh the weak points of this posing routine.